Welcome. Today there's been a patch and this was a big buff to toxic growth and a nice quality of life change for blink. Let me first show toxic growth. I used concentrated area simply to get the tighter spread for less area of effect, but the damage didn't work because it was bugged. Now this has been fixed and you can see that clearly you get 30% more damage, so a very big buff to our biggest damage skill. Second, blink have this quirk, which is nice, that you can activate sprint after blinking. However, if you blinked into a wall or just held the button just a bit too much in combat when you wanted to blink, the mobs would instantly hit you, you get heavy stunned and die or have to log out. So they've added a grace period where if you accidentally sprint, you can't get heavy stunned in the early animation of sprint. So very, very good buff and very nice quality of life change. I also seem to have found what caused most of the performance issues for Nvidia users and posted a fix on the Reddit forum. I won't go into details here, I'll just add a link in the description if someone wants, or you can ask me on stream if you need help. Furthermore, I have now added my first drafts at trade versions of the build, because I know a lot of people who follow it play trade and want better stuff adjusted for trade. So it will be a first draft. I will make it the Tailwind version primarily because it should be easy to support in trade. But if you want it more tanky, you just keep Subterfuge Mask and I'll add a version for that as well. But the main thing I will do is add Maligarus gloves, which sets your crit damage to 250%. Since we are a bit congested in the build because we need defense, we need attack, we need all the poison stuff, having all the crit as well is the best way to scale the damage. However, it takes a lot of points. So Maligarus gloves is perfect for the build because you can simply take the crit chance in the tree and skip all the crit damage. So you can skip cooked, you can skip heartbreaking, you can skip throat seeker, you can skip big parts of this tree which has crit damage and only go for the crit chance nodes. This has the added benefit of making pinpoint critical an insanely strong gem, since it simply gives you 60% more crit chance with no penalty. And this comes out to a tiny bit less crit damage, but for 0 points investment. So you free up many points, and this just makes sense overall. I'll also try to include some of the jewels. It looks like the Oasis jewel is very good because you can reach some pretty good stuff around here, some very good evasion nodes, and while fast acting toxins is not worth 12% more damage for this build, since a lot of the damage is not dot but instant damage from growths and poison, it's still a good node for 1 point. It's just not a good node if you have to travel here. So over time I'll try to look at all the nifty jewels and the one from Xesht as well. You could reach some stuff with it in certain ring configurations. I just haven't had time to look at it yet. But yeah, that's it for the build, and the Tailwind build feels really good. I will make just a quick note on how the whole thing works with the defense again. That most of the defense in the evasion builds is not the evasion. The evasion is more of a boost to the EHP, but you can never really get it to a level where evasion is completely reliable, even with full deflection. It can be okay, but you can get hit. You need to have life and ideally energy shield. And so Subterfuge Mask makes it so you can get just as much evasion and energy shield from a helm, which is such a win-win. But if you want the Tailwind helm, here comes the issue. You have to give this up. This is a pretty big deal, so it might not be worth it. It is the fastest, clear, highest damage to have the Tailwind head. But if you don't want to go super zoom, it's perfectly fine to just use the subterfuge mask. I'd say it's better total stat budget to have it. You give up a lot to get the Tailwind helm. But if you want for fun to go maximum clear, maximum speed, maximum damage, then it's the way to go. And the way to fill out energy shield, remember, Ghost Dance gives you 7% of your evasion every time you get hit, up to 5 Ghost Throws. So every time you get hit, it fills out your evasion. And with my gear, which is not amazing compared to good trade gear, this comes out to a bit over 1400 energy shield heal every time I get hit, up to the 5 Ghost Routes, and they regenerate quite quickly. That's why the build feels so extremely tanky once you get good energy shield and Ghost Route. So with the Tailwind helm, which I do have now, in order to reach even decent levels of shield, which I do have and it does work, you have to have some energy shield on gloves and or boots, and try to get some good jewels with energy shield. This one is probably completely perfect. Energy shield, double crit bonus, and magnitude of ailments. Some combination of the crit and ailments is fine, doesn't matter. All of them are good and will depend on your stats, which one weighs higher. But some combination thereof that ups the energy shield a lot, and suddenly it becomes enough to fully fill the Ghost Dance. Because having too much energy shield will not do that much good, because we have no way to recover it except the Ghost Dance. So tweaking your energy shield to roughly 7% of your evasion is the whole key to the defense. Hope that helps, and I'll keep refining these builds over the next days. And I'm also planning to try some elemental builds, both with poison and straight up lightning arrow on Pathfinder when I have time and have a perfect bow for it. I will also do some test runs for boss damage once this bow decides to roll physical damage. I finally managed to make a bow that deterministically will succeed in the end, after bricking my other bow. And this is also a major warning. You see it says sanctified at the bottom here. Yeah, that means corrupted. So don't use Orb of Sanctification. Don't do like I did and brick your best items by thinking it's just a divine. I did not read what sanctified does. I did not think it would completely brick the item, but it does. So this bow I would have used Omen of Light and just kept removing the projectile attack until I hit crit. But this amazing bow is now pretty useless for crit builds because it can never get crit. So I had to make a new, and I did manage after some time, and this will be, once it hits, just as good. But it needs to hit the big fizz roll, and that is rare, so it can take a while. But when it does, at least I have a good enough bow to try to not use Slivertongue, at least on bosses. This might look like an incredible upgrade, but it is not. It is just a bit higher and not worth the time to swap almost. So, with that said, thank you for watching and see you online.